Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show this evening. Tonight's guest, we have the Perez family. We want to bring them on the show and allow you to call in and ask questions about our conversation. Take part of our dialogue this evening. The phone number is 415-861-6648. It's on the screen. So call in and take part of our interview here this evening. This is the Perez family. This man was murdered, and we want people to call in and take part of it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
Glad to have
having
you
us.
to the show,
Hi.
Mr. Perez. We have Rick's grandmother with us tonight.
Petey's grandmother.
Petey's grandmother.
Petey's grandmother.
Petey's grandmother.
Grandmother, excuse me.
My mother.
Yeah.
Right. And Miss Harley, we have
Hello.
with us tonight. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we want to bring you on the show, and we want to give you an opportunity to talk to the audience and let the audience know your frustration, where you guys are today with this whole setup, and this something that happened in your life change the dynamics in your life for the rest of your life. So we want to bring you on the show and allow you to talk to the audience and let them know what your frustrations are and what organization you're with today. So,
Our frustrations are the same as they were the day one, and the police not coming forth with any information. They just are basically hiding behind the Policeman's Bill of Rights. And I'm watching it happen all over again. Just 2 days ago with the Australian girl that got shot in Minnesota.
right.
Same thing's happening with her, and so many different times I've seen the same thing happening with like with Mario Woods or several people. It just every time they hide behind the investigation, saying they can't talk about it. That's one of the reasons we settled our civil suit with them quickly. The main reason, because I didn't want to drag my wife through the depositions and whatnot that they want to put you through. And so we thought, here they are hiding behind the investigation. They can't talk about it. The investigation's over with now. The civil suit has been settled. Where's the truth?
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about when I started out here. We're back at square one again, and we still are not getting the truth. The police won't talk about it, want us to forget about it. Now, how the heck am I supposed to forget about my son? It's not going to happen.
So are the questions that's being asked, answers are not being given.
Yes.
Okay, and we want we want justice. We want justice for this.
I've had police come up to me and tell me, too bad my witnesses ain't cooperating with the police. And I totally understand that, because nobody wants to talk to the police no more. It's, no snitch policy
Exactly.
for a lot of different reasons. But, one of the ugly parts about that is the Brothers in Blue had the same policy.
Right.
No snitch policy on their end as well.
Exactly.
And,
I want to make a correction. People actually did come forward when it happened and give statements. And they also had recordings with their phones. And the police took their phones and took out the
memory chips.
and gave them back their phones without it.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the video that we have is from the store's owner that held on to the video to give to the families, or else they wouldn't even have that much, the last few minutes, the last few seconds of Petey's life. And it shows how many witnesses were there. And it also shows that the police never tried to do any type of life-saving service when they're supposed to save lives. They didn't try to save him at all, didn't even check if there was any chance of saving him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you see at least six police walk around him. They keep walking around him They never ever came near him to see if he had a pulse or his life could be saved, and they're supposed to do that.
Is this after he had been shot?
Yes,
And they walked around him
they were
while he was laying on the.
on the
Yes.
store floor.
Yeah.
Really?
And the video also contradicts what they said, because they try to say that he was intoxicated to the point that he was swaying, wasn't able to, compose himself, when actually in the video you could see that he had full composure, and he was able to, joke around. He wasn't in a bad mood. He knew the people there, and he's putting up two fingers behind a lady's head, making
Rabbit ears.
fun. Rabbit ears. Everyone knew him. The store owners knew him. Like the family told me, that going to that store was like walking into a living room, just another room in your house. That he grew up in that community all his life, and it was community policing that killed him.
What? Now let me ask the question that I'm curious about. Why did the police say they shot him? For what reason?
The officer parked his car on the side of the store and did a surprise check, a loitering check on people that were hanging out in front of the store. As soon as my son was with a 59-year-old grandmother of one of his friends.
Charlie Mae Rollins.
Charlie Mae Rollins is her name.
Yeah.
She was with him, and she saw the police over there, and so did Petey, and his friend Nick were there as well. And she said, well, we better get moving here. The cops are right there. Okay, first thing that comes to my mind is, why'd the cop have to park his car around the side? Why didn't he just pull up in front of the store, lights on or not, and do his check, do his business like they're supposed to do? Mm-hmm. And he was playing a surprise game on him, but they saw him, and
He
so
complied. He gave him his information.
They walked
checked
him
him.
around the corner. The grandmother did, and the lady, his friend of his, and the cop singled him out and said, "You come back here." And okay, here's the punchline here. The cop searched him, knew he was unarmed. All he had was keys and his phone on him, and had him sitting on the curb. So while the cop was trying to get a hold of another officer, my son got onto 911 himself and said that cops harassing me. It's
Right,
logged
he
in.
called the
It's
police.
logged in the
He
police.
called
Petey called the police.
He called the
How
police.
many seconds before Officer Wallace Jensen shot him? Just a
He
matter
called
of
the
seconds.
police. He got out a few words talking to the police, and then they hung up on him. So that had to have taken a few seconds. And then 25 seconds after the initiation of the call, shot spotter goes off, and he's dead.
So he was supposed to be intoxicated, but he had enough sense to call 911 for help, because he was being harassed by this officer, and there's witnesses. The officer said that there was a struggle for his gun. However, the family finally got the reports, and none of Petey's DNA is on the belt, the gun, or the holster. So what kind of struggle was there? Obviously, all these witnesses that saw what happened were telling the truth. I don't know why the system goes along with the officer's story instead of believing the citizens that pay them, when there were so many witnesses.
We had 6 eyewitnesses, maybe more, that all are consistent in saying that there was no struggle on Petey's part. He was trying to walk away from the officer. The officer grabbed him from behind,
Yes.
and
He was
basically
screaming out in pain.
had his knee in his back, had his one arm twisted behind his back, and trying to put handcuffs on him. I think he might have got one handcuff on. I'm not sure about that part, but he couldn't get the other hand behind him because my son was laying on it when the cop threw him on the ground from behind. So
He never attacked the officer. He never
Yeah.
tried to get his weapon. But they went along with this story, and at the story just gets worse. After the shooting happens, one of the witnesses, they take her to the police station to give a statement, and her kids that were out there and witnessed the incident were taken to her home and left in the house.
A 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old were taken home to their house right after they
Just
witnessed my
witnessed
son
their
getting shot
friend.
by the police. Put him in the house, told him stay there, stay put. Your mom will be back in a while, and she didn't get home for like 5 hours later.
Really?
Pat, where did
And
they take Wallace Jensen?
They took him to Concord to a hotel,
Crown Plaza Hotel.
Crown Plaza Hotel, and I'm sure they had attorneys there from the union, and they all worked together for their narration, false narration of the whole story.
Why are witnesses taken to the police station to give statements, and the person who committed the murder is taken to a hotel? That's why the Value Human Life Bill is so important. I'm trying to stop the paid administrative leave. It says that officers who are involved in any shootings need to have a toxicology exam, because they blasted as soon as they came out. They vilify the victim and say, well, he was aggressive and he had how much point levels of alcohol in his blood. What was in the officer's blood that caused him to be so aggressive?
Exactly.
To be,
Why wasn't that tested?
why
wasn't that
is it never
Why are
tested?
none of them ever
None of
tested?
them ever get tested.
And then you
Never
take him
tested.
to the hotel.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay.
So we're here today. We want to talk about the Bill of Rights, Officers' Bill of Rights. When an officer is involved in a shooting, they're immediately put on administrative leave, and they get paid
standard
for it.
paid. The
They
same
get paid for
thing.
it, right?
Yeah.
While they murder somebody, they get the gun is taken from them. They put on administrative leave immediately, and they're paid for it.
We pay them, and that's
If
disgusting.
that happened in any other line of work, you'd be fired, or you wouldn't be
Arrested.
paid. You'd be suspended from your job.
Exactly.
And yeah, you'd be arrested. But
Be arrested. So why is there a differences between the officers? Oh, because they're officers.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because they're officers.
It has been
They put
designed
officers.
that way to
and they have a
protect
Bill of
them.
Rights that's different from ours. So it's two sides of the coin.
Right.
You know,
Like-
why should their rights be different from ours? They're citizens. They're public servants.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
what
They're
they're public servants.
organized.
our taxpayer dollars makes their paychecks.
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't they accountable for
Exactly.
to us as their employers, basically?
Exactly. Now, Ms. Harley, I believe that you have put together a petition.
Yes,
the Bill of Rights.
petition. Thank you for asking. It's on change.org, change.org. I need people to go to change.org and type in Value Human Life Bill. And what will come up is the video of the store's recording of what happened to Petey. You could hear the witness's testimony on it. And
Now,
you could
what is that
actually
again?
see-
What is that?
It's on change.org, and the video of what happened to Petey, the same surveillance video that was given to the family, you can hear the witnesses speaking on what they saw.
Okay.
And yeah, it's very powerful and it's damning for the police, because obviously the witnesses, they told the truth and this officer lied, even though the DNA evidence didn't come out until 2 years later. There's still a big cover up, and the whole process needs to be changed, starting with no more paid administrative leave.
Exactly.
It's very disrespectful. And the officer, Mohammed Noor, who killed Justine Demond in Minnesota, the 40-year-old mother from Australia, he's right now, both of them, it was two officers that showed up on the scene. They're both on paid administrative leave. And this woman called the police for help, saying that, she's reporting a sexual assault.
And she gets
Why
killed.
would you come guns ready, guns out of your holster, and no one called and said they heard shots fired?
Right,
No
right.
one called and said, someone has a gun, someone has a knife. Why would you show up ready to shoot and kill?
Exactly. We're here in the studio today. We want you to go on the webpage that Ms. Harley spoke on.
Yes,
and we want
change.org.
to look up the
I
website,
don't know if they
and
could see it.
yeah, if you can, let me see if I can put that over here.
Thank you.
If that can be seen, I don't know. Let me see where.
We also have the Justice for Petey
Let's see.
website that pulls up the thing, or the murder of Petey Perez is on YouTube as well. So, I just wanted to also add that the cop that shot my son, his name is Wallace Jensen. You Google his name, you'll get a whole lot of information there. He is on post-traumatic stress disorder
Lifetime
from
industrial.
permanent
Yeah,
from shooting my
lifetime.
son. That's why
Wait,
he's getting
wait,
$70,700 a year.
Excuse me. Let me back up. You just said that the person that murdered your son.
Officer Wallace
on-
Jensen, 33, retired on lifetime industrial disability, which is what police officer and public servants get.
Are you serious?
Yes, that form of disability, he's on
$70,700
lifetime.
plus cost of living increases,
Right.
Tax-free dollars.
tax-free dollars because
Really?
it's
Yes.
disability.
It's something only offered to police officers and firemen.
Yes. So
Other people don't get that. Period.
So why is it a difference? Why is it a
because
difference?
the police unions are very strong, but I believe that the taxpayers are stronger.
Sure.
There are more of us, and if we have to force them to do the right thing, and because it seems as if they don't have the conscience, so we definitely need to change the laws. I believe
Sure.
you can march, you could shout, but if you're not talking about changing the laws that allow this to happen, that protect them, that give them a paid vacation after they murder your family member, then nothing's going to change.
Sure, right.
As a matter of fact, they get promoted,
Yeah.
and there's really no consequence to killing someone. The officer that killed Justine Damon on Saturday paid administrative leave and still hasn't. The East Bay Times did a report in today's paper that he still hasn't provided a statement as to what happened, and his lawyer is saying that they don't know when he'll provide a statement. Why is that?
Really? Wow.
I wanted to add one more thing too about the Richmond Police Department. They were one of the trainers who told the chief, "I don't recommend this guy for hire. He's not the right stuff." And he also was sent back to the academy 3 different times for not being the right stuff.
Really?
He had a reputation, but the problem with the police officers' Bill of Rights is every complaint is the first complaint because they are not allowed to speak of this and do anything with it. He was hired because of, I understand, okay, all this information I got came from other police officers. Come up to talk to me. There is good police officers. We all know that. But, and I don't want to be a cop basher.
If they're not locking up the bad
but if
cops, then they're not
They're
good
just
to
as
me.
bad. They're
If
just
they're
as
not
bad.
locking
Yeah,
up the bad cops and they're standing behind the blue wall
The
and
Blue
standing
Brotherhood.
arm in arm with the killer, then they're not good to me. That doesn't
It's-
make a good cop.
It's just basically a federally sanctioned gang.
So they knew before they hired him that he was really a bad cop,
Yes, he wasn't good material to be a cop.
but they hired him anyway.
And the person came up and told me all this himself, Richmond police officer. And like I said, other police officers come up and told me, and other people high up in the city have told me the same thing.
Wow.
And there's a consistency going on there with complaints about him. He also he's trigger happy. He shot 2 different dogs. He shot at another human 1 year before he shot my son. He shot
really?
at his back. The guy didn't
Oh
get
my
hit.
goodness.
He shot his back?
He shot at his back
Oh
because the guy was running. He didn't hit him, thank God. And anyway, it's information I found out about him. And
That brings me to the next point, that people, when I go to meetings, I hear them talk about training. They need to be trained. Officer Wallace Jensen was trained in martial arts. He was trained in
crisis negotiator.
crisis negotiation, how to de-escalate. And what I just learned is that this same officer that had all this training was shooting at someone's back.
So you have all
And
this
the
training
police
for what?
department knew this because obviously you know it now.
Yes.
And he was still on the force.
Right, right.
And he was a canine officer too, and he kept his dog locked in the car when he arrested Petey. When he did what he did to Petey, he left. We heard it at the coroner's inquest. He left his dog locked in the car with the motor running, so the dog would have air condition.
Really?
So
Really?
you have
Yes.
a canine companion. You have mace. You have a taser. You have everything, but you choose the deadliest form
Right, right.
and kill someone that's innocent, and everyone sees, and DNA comes out, and you're still walking free on lifetime industrial disability at 70,000 in 2016.
He should be arrested.
Meanwhile,
Yes.
innocent
He should be
people
arrested. Criminal
are
charges
with
should be
less
brought.
He
evidence
should be arrested.
are
He should
serving
be arrested.
life.
We have
There's no statute of limitations on murder. Who told me?
exactly.
Reminded
there's
me.
no
Exactly.
statute of limitations on homicide, no matter
Exactly.
which degree you want to
Exactly.
push it at.
Exactly.
That's why he has to go to
So
prison.
you know that's why we're persistent in shows like this. We want the truth exposed. That's all we ever said in the day one
Right.
is we want the truth. Nothing's
They
going to
want
bring
the truth. I
this-
want him
nothing's going to bring my
locked up.
son back.
I
but
want
We
him
want-
in life, in prison for life, like
Right.
everyone else gets
Exactly.
sentenced for
Exactly.
killing someone. So you want the truth, and I always come back and say I want him in prison.
You-
So,
you
and I
have
also want to change the laws.
We want the audience
that protect them.
We want the audience. This show will be on YouTube tomorrow. Okay. We want the audience because they're going to see this. We want the audience to go on to the website.
Change.org.
Okay.
Please go on to change.org and type in Value Human Life Bill.
Exactly.
And it'll come up with the video of what happened, and it has the wording for the Value Human Life Bill. And basically, no more paid administrative leave, toxicology exam. If they shoot at someone who is not in the act of committing a felony offense, they will be fired, and we do not pay their legal fees when they shoot and kill at someone unarmed. All of this money that's being spent to train and paid administrative leave, I'm paying for it as a taxpayer. It doesn't have to happen to me for me to care.
Right.
And that's what I'm asking more people to care and help prevent this, because if there are no real consequences, then nothing will change.
Exactly.
I don't march anymore. I'm focusing on policy, and this is the first step. My city council members have promised me that they would do a resolution, and that's symbolic. And I'm so thankful for that. That's a start. So I'm hoping to have that resolution passed in Richmond and take it up the chain. I don't know where it'll go. I'm hoping to get it on the ballot. That's my goal, to get it passed into law.
Yeah, you will.
But I'm hoping that people will listen and care, because it doesn't have to happen. You shouldn't wait until it happens to you
Exactly.
for you to
Exactly.
care.
Exactly.
We're paying them.
We've had our people from the Oscar Grant Committee look at the video, and also I've had certain police officer look at the video. They all say that Wallace Jensen did not have his taser on his utility belt, did not have his baton, did not have his pepper spray.
He didn't have it on.
All
And
these
that's
things
all
I pay for.
all policy. Yet the police chief at the time, Chris Magnus, swore up and down he did, and it's clear as day on the video.
He did not.
Again, that video is on the Value Human Life,
Change.org.
change.org, Value Human Life, or also it's on the murder of P.D. Perez, or it just as well. I've heard people just look up Wallace Jensen, and that's the name of the officer who shot my son, and there's a lot of information there about it as well.
About him being
So
paid.
it's a cover up, and it's the same thing that we see with. You know, I've been networking with a whole different bunch of mothers, like Gwen Woods, Mario Woods' mother, and lots of people, and all the stories are the same. Every one of them, the way the police cover these things up, don't let information out. And actually, you should have seen the look on their face when they saw that we had the video from the store, because I knew the store owner for way back, and he knew this is the way procedure is.
Thank you so much
he,
for our Muslim neighbors.
he saved it for me. At the same time, they confiscated his video equipment from the store. Never gave it back.
Never, to this day,
So-
almost
Never.
But they
3
didn't
years
know.
later.
Okay, so I never disclosed the fact that I had the video
Video, right.
until way later in the process. They had already made all their statements and stuff, and everything they made was contradictory to the video itself. Everybody that watches the video has the same opinion of that cop losing his cool, it wasn't right. It wasn't nothing any
Petey
police
was not
officers trained to
staggering.
do.
He wasn't intoxicated to the point. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't look angry, and everything that the witnesses said is what happened.
And
not
he
what
didn't
the
attack
officer
the
says.
cop. They
He
Yeah,
said-
never
so,
attacked the
so we
cop.
have a classic situation of 6 eyewitnesses, and 1 police officer, and you know how that goes. The police officer's word is
because
is,
of the
you
law
know,
enforcement officer's Bill of Rights.
Now-
That
now-
law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights was originally set up to protect their address, the members of their families' names, and their phone number, and that's it. It's evolved into a monster that they hide
You don't have to
behind
make a
and
statement.
conceal everything.
they are using the same officers' police Bill of Rights to hide behind with the sex scandal that's going on in Oakland and in Richmond and in the I think it's Alameda County police officer who happened to be named Ricardo Perez, same name as me. Wow.
Can I tell you about the flyer?
Sure you can. Sure you can.
Okay, so Pat made the flyer for me. She makes all my flyers. She has the most beautiful handwriting. So it says, bad laws protecting cops who killed unarmed citizens must be changed. Please sign the Value Human Life Bill on change.org. And then on the bottom, she has some names. So I want to ask her because some of them I recognize. So is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so the first name that you wrote, Andy Lopez, age 13. What happened to him?
He was in Santa Rosa. He was playing with a gun in a park, and
A toy gun.
a toy gun, yes,
13
a toy
years
gun.
old, Andy Lopez.
And they
Charles
shot him dead.
Burns, 21 years old.
He's a-
Charles Burns was in Antioch, and it was they were doing a following him around and doing a drug raid. He had a past, but he didn't have nothing on him that day. He got scared because undercover cops came up on him. What is he supposed to think?
Right.
And he ran, and they shot him.
They shot him. Oh, wow. Give me a second. Derek Gaines, 15 years old.
Derek Gaines was in
South San Francisco.
San Bruno, San Francisco, South San Francisco, and he was at a gas station. He saw the cops. He went running. Apparently, he had a gun that had no firing pin in it, but he had thrown it in the bushes and kept running, and the cop shot him in his back.
A 15-year-old.
A 15-year-old, way beyond where the gun was found. So,
Pat, what happened to... Why did you put Tommy McLean, 22 years old?
He's a young man up in Eureka that was killed. I don't know the whole story, but any one of these names, if you put in killed by cops and their name, you will get the full story.
James Rivera Jr., I know
It's
that.
at Stockton,
in Stockton,
Mario Romero, 23
Vallejo.
years old.
Vallejo.
Vallejo,
Yanaria Serrano, 18.
Santa Cruz, then Petey, and then Patrick
Hey,
Wetter.
we wanna thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we wanna bring you guys back.
Idris
We wanna bring
Stelly,
you guys
San
back.
Francisco native.
Okay, we wanna bring you guys back because our time has run out.
Okay.
Okay, but we wanna bring you guys back whenever you have time to come back. We wanna bring you back on another live show. We wanna get some advertising out so you guys have some call-ins where people can call and take part in the show. So we wanna bring you back in 2 weeks, if it's possible. 2 weeks on a live show, 6:30 for 7. And we want to put some advertising out on Facebook, YouTube, whatever we can put it out on, and allow you guys to come back and ask questions about this. This needs to be talked about. People need to know what goes on in our communities where we pay taxes. You know, we're taxpayers, right? And they need to know. So we want to bring you guys back. Okay?
Thank you. For
Thank
Thank you for
Thank
watching
you.
the show tonight, and tune in on Channel 76 on Thursday nights. 2 weeks from now, we'll have them back in the studio. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.